Hi Katybug Crafters, it's Katie Sinclair here with Katybug Crafts, and my goal for the new year is to try to dwindle down my scrap box. So I'm going to start making a whole bunch of projects that help use up my scraps, and today I'm going to show you one of them. So we're going to use some of those half-inch bits that we've got left over from projects, and I'm going to show you some other things that we're doing too, and a sneak peek into what's in my Etsy shop for Valentine's Day, and I hope you're ready. Let's create together.
All right, today is all about using up some scraps. So we're gonna make, like I showed you before, a project inspired by this one. You can use any of the scraps that you have hanging around your craft room or your, I have an entire scrap box. And one of the biggest things to remember is to use a die for this that is recognizable. I really wanted to use the octopus from the Under the Sea framelits dies, and then I cut it out and I was like, what is that? So I ended up not using this piece, but I did use the octopus still, and I'll show that to you a little bit later. So I ended up going with the Eastern Beauty Suite, and let's go ahead and make a card. For my card base, again, because it's scraps, I went with the Fresh Fig 5.5 by 8.5 folded in half. And I've got a piece of Whisper White that's 5.25 by 4. This square itself is a 2.5 inch square. And then the rest of the papers that I'm using are all just 1/2 inch strips that I happen to have. Whatever you've got, you can use paper, you can use ribbon, you can use washi tape. Again, this is all about you helping you clear out any scraps. So let's get to work. And the first thing I want to show you is a little trick to ripping. I really like a controlled rip. So I'm going to pinch and pull, and especially with this designer series paper to get that nice white decal. So pretty. Also keep in mind your card size. And I'm going to flip it over to this way. Boom. There you go. Once all your pieces are ripped, I'm going to use some tear and tape to stick mine on. You can use snail or any other adhesive that you have. I just kind of like tear and tape because it's kind of almost the perfect thickness. Make sure that if you've established a back to your pretty rips, that you put your adhesive on the back and not on top of the rips that you want to showcase. I'm going to kind of leave a space here, I think. Add a little interest. And you know what? And I'm already making the decision. I do not want this one right next to that one, because for me that's a little bit too close in value. So I'm going to throw this dark purple one in. Always trying to create some contrast. Maybe I want a space there too. I kind of like this better. Kind of zigzagging it. All right. Oh, cool. I like it. So I did learn that if you do want to add a stamp, like this one from that same suite, the Eastern Palace, then now's the time to do it. So I am going to go ahead and take my Night of Navy which is a nice dark blue. And I'm going to stamp that right in the middle here. Very cool. Not necessary, but if you wanted to add a little bit more, then that's fine. And now I'm ready to add some dimensionals. That goes right on top. Before you put that on, like if you want, like in this one, I added a little ribbon because I had some scrap, just a little tiny scrap of ribbon. That's also the time to do it before you adhere that. But now's the time if you want to add any other embellishments. I've got some sequins that kind of go, or some of these. I think I'm going to take these. And again, just leftovers from previous projects. I think I'm going to put one up here. And one down here. Ooh, actually, before I do that, I'm going to stamp my sentiment, which is just a little hello. Now I'll stick you on. Okay. And then the last thing to do is to attach this to our card base. I'm using some snail. And there you go, a nice, pretty, scrappy note card to send to a friend. With that octopus, another scrappy card, I ended up just using it as a focal point, and with a little vellum, again, some scraps and some stamping, was able to still use that piece. And you can do the same procedure with Valentine's cards. These are available in my Etsy shop. And there's really just so much you can do, maybe more than you think, with your scraps. And hopefully I've helped you to do that. Have a great day and keep creating.